What if I told you that you could build and launch a fully functional personal website in under 10 minutes without writing a single line of code? It's not a gimmick. Tools like Claude Code have completely changed the rules. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it from scratch. I've been getting a lot of messages recently from people who are interested in Claude Code or other AI coding tools. Usually it's something along the lines of, I want to try this, but I have no idea where to start. Which makes total sense. If you've never built anything with code before, opening an environment like this can feel a bit overwhelming. So, I thought I'd show you one of the simplest things you can build with it, a personal website. Nothing fancy, just something small to understand how the whole process works. And the interesting part is you don't need to know how to code to do this. I barely know any code myself. First things first, downloading the Claude desktop app. Once you open it, you'll see 3 sections at the top: Chat, Co-work, and Code. For this project, we're going straight into Code. Some people use Claude through a terminal, but if you're new, I honestly wouldn't bother with that yet. The Code interface makes things a lot easier because you're basically just prompting Claude, and it builds everything inside a folder for you. No terminal required. Which is great if you're someone who normally avoids the terminal at all costs. The first thing Claude will ask you to do is choose a folder where the project will live. I just created a folder called something simple like Claude Code, Personal Site. Once you select it, Claude will use that folder for everything it creates. There's also a setting where it asks if you want to approve edits before Claude changes files. If you're a bit cautious, you can leave that on. Personally, I just auto-accept edits because it speeds things up a lot. Since everything is completely isolated inside that specific folder anyway, nothing else on your computer gets touched. Now, one thing people massively overthink with AI tools is prompting. You really don't need to do anything fancy. Just explain what you want like you're talking to a developer, that's it. So for this example, I just wrote, make me a personal website that's minimal, has an avatar, a name, a bio, links to some projects, and a contact form. Claude then looks at the empty folder and starts building the website. You'll see it creating files like index.html and styles.css. If you don't know what those are, it doesn't really matter. But basically, HTML is the structure of the site, and CSS controls how everything looks. Claude writes all of that automatically. Once it finishes generating everything, you can click Preview. Claude spins up a little local server so you can see the site. You might see a quick message about an HTTP server starting, but just allow it and don't worry about the technical details. And suddenly, you have a website. It will already include an avatar placeholder, your name, a bio, project links, and a working contact form, all generated from a single prompt, which still feels a bit ridiculous when you think about it. Now that the site exists, we can start changing things. Instead of manually editing code, we just tell Claude what we want. For example, I asked it, can you please add a dark mode and also add a toggle for it in the top right of the website? A few seconds later, the entire design updated and there was a working dark mode switch. That kind of thing would normally take quite a bit of coding knowledge and time. Here, it's just another sentence. At this point, the website just has placeholder text, so you can replace it with actual content. You can pass it your details directly, for instance, name, meta theory, bio, music producer and tech creator, projects, meta theory audio. Claude will update everything instantly. You can also drag an avatar image directly into the chat and say, use this image as the avatar, and it will handle the asset mapping for you. After that, I wanted to try adding something else, so I asked Claude to create a blog section under the projects area. I prompted, can you add a grid of thumbnails and titles for a blog right under the projects section? Claude generated a clean blog layout with placeholder posts in seconds. At this point, the site had projects, a blog section, a contact form, dark mode, and custom styling, and it probably took less than 10 minutes total. Right now, the site only exists on your computer, so the next step is putting it on the internet. Before doing that, we need to save the project somewhere online. The easiest place to do that is GitHub. If you don't already have a GitHub account, you'll need to create one first. It's free and only takes a minute. You'll also need to connect GitHub to Claude the first time you try to upload something. Claude will guide you through this automatically by opening a GitHub login page where you approve the connection. After that, Claude can create repositories and upload your project for you. Then you can simply ask Claude, upload to GitHub. It will ask you if you want to create a new repository and upload all the files from your project folder. You don't need to run any commands or touch anything technical. Once the code is safely on GitHub, the final step is getting the website live. Personally, I've been using Hostinger for years for a lot of my websites, so it's usually the first place I go when I want to deploy something quickly. The setup is incredibly simple. All you need to do is log into Hostinger, connect your GitHub account, select the repository, choose the branch, and click Deploy. Hostinger will build the site and give you a live URL. If you don't have a domain yet, you can even use a temporary one just to see it live on the internet within a minute or two. If you want to take it a step further, you can connect your own custom domain inside Hostinger so the site lives at your own custom URL. The whole process walks you through it step by step. What I love most about this workflow is how simple updates are later on. If you change something locally in Claude Code, you just push the update to GitHub again. Hostinger sees the update and redeploys the site automatically. The process becomes a seamless loop: prompt, build, push, live, which makes experimenting incredibly easy. Of course, you'll occasionally run into small issues. At one point, I thought my blog section hadn't deployed properly, but it turned out the site just needed a hard refresh using Command+Shift+R. Problem solved. But even if something actually breaks, you can just paste the error message or a screenshot into Claude and ask it to fix it. Most of the time, it figures it out instantly. The interesting thing about tools like Claude Code is how much friction they remove. A few years ago, you'd need to thoroughly understand HTML, CSS, Git, deployment pipelines, and hosting configuration. Now, you mostly just need to explain what you want. You don't need to become a full-time developer. You just need an idea and the willingness to try things. If you want to use the exact same setup I'm using to get your project online, check out the Hostinger link in the description below. Drop a comment letting me know what kind of project you're planning to build first. Hit that like button if this video helped you out, and don't forget to subscribe for more no-code and development workflows. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.